Well, Premier Doug Ford and Ontario Solicitor General Michael Kerzner, among other officials, are speaking in Mississauga. Let's listen in live.
Here in our region, in the GTA, and right across Ontario, as you will all know, a significant increase in auto thefts, carjackings, shootings, and violent crimes. The need for strong collaboration between police services has always existed, but it's critical for us in our ability to arrest the criminals and protect our communities. In responding to violent crimes in progress, locating an armed suspect, finding a missing person, and someone in crisis, minutes are extremely critical and seconds count. The effectiveness of police helicopters and air support right across the world has repeatedly demonstrated that in police response and investigations, there is absolute value. This is one more tool, and can I say a critical tool, available for our officers to respond more effectively to emergency calls. Today's announcement is a great example of what can be accomplished when police services and the provincial government work together to improve police response and to keep our communities safe. Let me tell you, this investment from the province directly supports our frontline officers and our operational response, and also increases the safety of our officers, which is paramount to all of us. On behalf of the members of Peel Regional Police and our partner agencies, we are absolutely grateful to Premier Ford, Solicitor General Michael Kerzner, Deputy Minister DiTommaso, and the entire provincial government for their leadership and commitment to public safety. This will have long-lasting impact on our community and our officers. I'd also like to thank our MPPs, our regional councillors for the region of Peel, our Peel Regional Police Services Board for continuing to advocate for the necessary resources to address these emergent issues that are facing Ontario and our communities. In Peel, we will work together alongside our communities and all of our partners to ensure the safety and well-being of everyone. Thank you.
Good morning. OPP Commissioner Thomas Creek sends his regrets that he's not able to attend this significant announcement today. Let me start off by saying that the OPP is as honored as it is proud to be part of the new Joint Air Support Unit. We are grateful to our provincial government for enhancing OPP aviation services with these new state-of-the-art helicopters, and we look forward to supporting our valued law enforcement partners, Toronto Police, as well as Ottawa Police, with this groundbreaking new initiative. What makes it groundbreaking is that this is the first time in the OPP's history that we will be providing dedicated air support to other police services. These helicopters are not just machines. They are vital tools that further enhance our ability to protect those who live, work, and visit Ontario. From our provincial government to our policing partners and other public and community safety advocates, a tremendous amount of work and dedication went into getting this initiative to this point. In addition, this year marks the 50th anniversary of the OPP's aviation services, making today an even more monumentous occasion for the more than 9,000 uniform, civilian, and volunteer OPP members who are committed to keeping communities and roads safe throughout the province every day. The creation of the new Joint Air Support Unit is a remarkable milestone in policing from which so many communities will greatly benefit, as there can be no greater priority than keeping the people we serve safe. Thanks to the new Joint Air Support Unit, our collective commitment to public safety will be even greater. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Deputy Dart, and to all those men and women who work day and night to help keep Ontario safe. We will always have your backs. It's an honor to be here today with so many incredible police services, civilian and sworn, friends and colleagues. And as I've said before, we've never had a government in my lifetime that has prioritized public safety more than our government, led by Premier Ford. As Solicitor General, my highest priority is the safety of the people of this province. We believe and we know that our inherent right to live safely in our own homes and communities, to see our kids off to school, to check in on our seniors and loved ones, to go to work, to play in the park, and to pray safely is something that belongs to everyone. At the start of every shift, police officers put on their uniforms with a duty to fulfill this right. And they do an incredible job fighting all forms of criminality, including auto theft. Auto theft is becoming all too common, and we have had enough. Every day in southern Ontario, we see reports of more cars being stolen, more homes being broken into, some violently, with doors being kicked in, and others as a result of a carjacking. And this is totally unacceptable. And I've said this before. To those who feel these criminal acts are okay, it is not. We will find you, we will arrest you, and we will put you out of business. We will hold the criminals to account, and we will put them behind bars where they belong. And today, thanks to Premier Ford, we are doubling down. Criminal organizations may have become more sophisticated, but so have we. Over the last short while, our government has made strategic investments to enhance and provide extra resources to our police services throughout the province to fight crime and fight it hard. And let me give you some examples. $51 million invested to fight auto theft, removing the unnecessary barriers of entry at the Ontario Police College, including wiping out the tuition fee of almost $17,000 per recruit. And we're seeing more than 600 new boots on the ground this year alone. And we're investing over $112 million in the bail compliance and warrant apprehension grant, funds that will be used to make sure violent and repeat offenders are off our streets. And just 2 weeks ago, I traveled to the Port of Montreal with our Deputy Solicitor General so I could see for myself our stolen cars. And together with my counterpart in Quebec, we will continue to advocate to the federal government to make changes on inspections of outbound containers, especially those whose suspected cargo may include stolen vehicles. I want to thank the OPP, our municipal and First Nations police services, and the Le Sûreté de Québec, who continue to work daily in recovering our stolen vehicles. To conclude, criminals think they triumph when governments do nothing. Our government, led by Premier Ford, will do everything possible because we know a safe Ontario is a strong Ontario. And our commitment to public safety is absolute and constant. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Premier Ford to officially tell us why we are here today. Premier?
Thanks, Michael. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Minister Kersner, for that introduction. And, you know, I couldn't ask for a better Solicitor General. I know I had a champion before Michael, which is the Deputy Premier, Sylvia Jones, and what a great Deputy Premier, Minister of Health. And I'm thrilled to be here in the beautiful city of Mississauga. Here we go. There's a long list. I'm just going to repeat the list again. So alongside Minister Kersner, Tangri, Sarkaria, Surma, McCarthy, Kusendova, Thenigaslum, Crawford, Ford, and Williams, and MPPs, Graham McGregor, and Amarjot Sandhu, Hardeep Grewal, Rudy Cazzetto, Sharif Sabawe, Z. Hamid, Lauren Coe, and Patrice Barnes, and hopefully I didn't forget anyone. And just before I begin, I want to welcome Mayor Brown. I understand I just missed Mayor Parrish, and we did have a a get-together over at the House, sat down, and what a wonderful mayor, and she wants to work collaboratively with the province and the balance of the mayors in Peel Region, and as well as Mayor Collier. And Regional Chair Nando. Nando, always good to see you, and thank you for all your hard work, not only on the Police Services Board, but also as the Chair of Peel Region. I also want to acknowledge Deputy Solicitor General Di Tommaso. You know, Deputy Solicitor General Di Tommaso, he's not in the limelight. He's not out there waving the flag, but he makes things happen. And we're very, very grateful to have him. He's one of our great deputy ministers, and we're very grateful. So thank you, Mario, for all the work that you do there. Along with Deputy Commissioner Dart that you heard from, and thank you to all the OPP, Deputy Commissioner Thompson, Chief Demkew, and Chief Marar, and Chief Stubbs, Chief Mahar, and PAO President Mark Baxter, OACP President Roger Wilkie, TPA President John Reed, and all of our policing partners here today. And of course, big thank you to Chief Nish. Thank you for hosting us here, Chief, everyone at Peel Regional Police, and everyone at the Gary W. Morden Center for hosting us. I always say it takes all of us, and I mean all of us, working together, our police services, our members of, and our members and our police officers on the front line. You know, they have one of the toughest jobs in the entire province. Putting your uniform on, kissing your loved ones goodbye, and not knowing if you're coming home. Very few jobs entail that. So we love our frontline police officers, and thank you for everything you do. Our court system, our JPs and judges, and I've just directed our Attorney General, we're going to start measuring the bail because it's out of control right now. We have some of the greatest JPs and judges in the country, and I love the justice system, the court system, but there's some that continuously give people bail. Not once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So I've directed our Attorney General, as of this morning, to start measuring how many cases versus how much bail they get out on, and not get out on, but they get bail, and then how many repeat offenders. Because what I'm hearing on the streets, they arrest someone and they're out on bail vast majority of the time just to repeat the heinous crimes. We also appreciate our border services, associations, and all levels of government to keep our community safe. We each have an important role to play. For our part, our government is making the necessary investments to ensure that our police services have the tools and the resources they need. We're getting more boots on the ground across the province, as you heard from Minister Kersner. We're strengthening our bail system, and as Mr. Kersner outlined, we've made significant investments to tackle auto theft head on. I always say the police can't do their jobs unless we give them the proper tools to do their jobs, and the courts back them up and support our police out on the front lines there. And I want to pause here to recognize our police services for the great work they're doing on disrupting auto theft rings. Here's just a couple. In particular, I want to congratulate the OPP and the Project Vector team that recovered nearly 600 vehicles worth of approximately $34.5 million from the Port of Montreal. I want to thank York Regional Police on the success of Operation Auto Guard that saw 56 people charged with over 280 offenses and resulted in 80 vehicles being recovered. What I'd like to do, I'd like to measure how many of those people are getting out on bail, and then I'll report back to you, because that something tells me a lot of them are going to be back out on bail to recommit the crimes. And just last week, Chief Nish announced 18 arrests in a major carjacking and home invasion investigation. I want to congratulate all of you, and I'm sure the other police departments, no matter if it's Toronto or Halton, they have the same stories. They're doing an incredible, incredible job. Message to the Prime Minister, you need to start coming up with mandatory sentencing. You go in, you kick the door in, you put a gun to someone's head, you steal their car, you need to be going to jail for 10 years, 5 years, whatever they determine. And we can't have a weak-kneed approach to this. and I've told them that personally. But folks, we know we have more work to do. Here in Ontario, a car is stolen every 14 minutes. There's nowhere in North America that have those stats. That's simply unacceptable. So today we're delivering on our promise, outlined in this year's budget, to invest $134 million to purchase new helicopters to help fight auto theft and organized crime in Ottawa and the GTA. As part of this investment in new Joint Air Support Unit, the OPP will acquire 2 new H-135 helicopters to provide support to Ottawa and the Toronto Police Services. In addition, 3 helicopters will be purchased, owned and operated by Durham, Halton, Peel Regional Police Services to support current patrols and improve response times. Friends, this new fleet of helicopters will be a massive boost for community safety. They'll help keep our highways and roadways safe from violent carjacking, auto thefts, street racing, and impaired drivers. They'll allow for faster and safer pursuits of stolen vehicles and help police locate and catch high-risk suspects. This investment is a strong message to all the criminals and thugs out there involved in violent and organized crime. People who steal cars and commit violent crimes, we're coming for you, and we'll catch you, and we'll put you behind bars. Whether we're investing in new technologies and innovative policing initiatives, fighting guns and gangs, or bringing in new recruits, our government will always be here to support our police services right across the province. I want to thank you for everyone joining us today. May God bless the men and women in uniform, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much.
We will now open the floor for questions.
I'm drenched.
Please come to the mic and state your name and outlet. And just a reminder, it's 1 question and 1 follow-up. First question.
Hi, good morning, Premier. It's Jessica from the Trillium.
Hi, Jessica.
I'd like to follow up on your comments about measuring bail. It sounded like you were implying that JPs and maybe even some judges are letting people out on bail too much. If that's what your statistics tell you, will you remove them from the bench?
Well, let's first measure. We can't measure. There's no measurement going on right now. I love our court system. We have some of the finest JPs and judges in the country, but we have some other JPs and judges that just think letting them out on bail is the right thing to do. It's the wrong thing to do. But we're going to be measuring, and there'll be accountability. Like I get held accountable, like the chiefs get held accountable, the court system has to be held accountable.
To follow up, can you explain to us exactly what that accountability might look like? I think some lawyers might have some concerns about the independence of the justice system under something like that.
Well, they're always independent, but who holds them accountable? How do you like someone banging in your door, put a gun to your head, and find out later that they're out on bail 4 or 5 times, and they're mocking the police in the back of the cruiser, saying, by the way, I'll be out on bail by the time you start your next shift. There has to be accountability at all levels, starting from the Premier, right from the Prime Minister, the Premier, and police chiefs, and the courts. Courts aren't exempt. They have to be held accountable for the decisions they make.
Good morning, Premier. This is Nitin Chopra from Prime Asia TV.
Hi.
Hi. Premier, when you gave a message to our Honorable Prime Minister, we have seen that you got an applaud from every single law enforcement person present here and who is watching you live also. So where is the disconnect? Reason everyone is praising this government, the provincial government, that you are doing investment funding for the public safety. But when we put this question in front of our Justice Minister, he said we already made 2 amendments in the bail reform in the criminal code, and last year and this year, January, and you will see the results soon. But these same announcements, these same things, and what Mayor Brown said, that he has the stories, we have the stories, every single outlet has a lot of stories. For last 3-4 years, we have seen stories and stories. Opposition leader is highlighting those stories. Where is the disconnect? What kind of changes they made in the criminal code, which we don't see the effect? And what needs to be done by the federal government, by our Justice Minister, so that these biggest gold heists, these extortion question is they are out enjoying their life, and Ontarians and Canadians are suffering. Where is the disconnect, Premier?
Yeah, great question. It's very, very simple. It's not they can't do it. They don't want to do it. If you want to do something, you've been in office for 10 years, you would have had it done. You see crime going up. Everyone's doing their polling. It's always the economy, healthcare, affordability. But guess what's number 2 is crime now. I've never seen it. Usually it's about 8. It's number 2. People don't feel comfortable going down to the subways, walking the streets late at night. And we all know that doors are being kicked in, guns are being put at people's heads, and their cars are being stolen. They don't feel safe any longer. But we're going to put an end to it. We're going to put an end to it with a collaboration with police services right across this province, all 3 levels of government. And we're going to start beating the drum on the federal government. Not only the bail reform that we came up with, and we wrote a letter, and to be honest, that's the only reason it ended up getting done, but mandatory sentences. That when you commit a crime, there's accountability, and they're going to think twice if they commit a crime and they know they're going to serve 5 years. Compare what they do here versus down in the U.S. Look at the laws down there. If you break into someone's house with a gun and put the gun to their head and then steal their car. Here, you get slapped on the wrist and you're out on bail to commit the same crime the next night. Unacceptable. We aren't standing for it anymore, and we're going to make sure that we make the appropriate changes, and I'll be pounding the federal government about mandatory sentencing.
Premier, everything is interlinked, and Premier, everything is interlinked with public safety, because safety comes first, then health comes. So many Ontarians, they have hope in you, and we don't want any government to act before the elections. Next year, we may have elections. So I'll read a simple question from the Ontarians. Many of these kind of questions we got, but we don't have any answer. Question is, why individuals should pay more insurance when their cars are stolen? It's not their fault. It's government who should cover the extra premium, because citizens are already paying high taxes to protect them. If authorities are unable to do their job, they should be responsible for extra insurance or new payment increase. These are the papers many Ontarians, they send us for high premiums of their home insurance, for their auto insurance. They cannot afford. The affordability is an issue here in Canada. What is the solution, Premier? Thank you.
Yeah, another great question, and I guess Mayor Brown, you see it up in Brampton, Peel region. Their premiums, if you live there, your premiums are higher. You live in Scarborough, your premiums are higher, and they really get spread right across the entire province to balance it out. And that's something that can be resolved by throwing these criminals in jail, making sure that we stop the crimes. You go down to root cause. The reason the premiums are going up, just like you said, my friend, cars are being stolen. If we stop the cars being stolen, then the premiums should be coming down. But go to root cause, and root cause is because they're stealing the cars. And we're going to put an end to this.
Hi, Premier. Tina Yazdani with City News.
Hi.
Hi. So you touched briefly on impaired driving in this announcement. I do want to ask you about that, because 2 people in Ontario were killed in the last 2 weeks by alleged drunk drivers, and impaired driving numbers are trending upwards in the province and have been for years. Premier, will your government's alcohol everywhere policy exacerbate that problem?
No, I don't think so. You got to be responsible, right? You can go into the liquor store right now. You can go to a local Foodland up north. You have to be responsible. People know you don't drink and drive. But I'm going to hand this question over to Deputy Dart, and then over to Chief Nish. And they're on the ground. They see and they hear what their police officers are telling them. But I do like the idea about at nighttime, or Deputy Commissioner Dart can explain it. But you get a test. If you aren't drinking, you don't have to worry, right? And if you are drinking, well, you're getting towed away, and depending on the circumstances, you may be in jail. But Deputy? Yeah.
Thank you, Premier, and thank you for that question. It is a significant concern for our province, and legitimately, impaired drivers kill. And that needs to be a priority of a police responsibility, contributing to, of course, our efforts to make sure that our highways are safe for those living in Ontario as well as those visiting our province. Collectively and cooperatively, we work together with all of our law enforcement partners in an effort to combat and tackle impaired driving, whether we do that proactively through crime prevention measures, conversations that we continue and need to have, as well as enforcement efforts and being very target specific in our efforts to combat impaired drivers.
Thank you. And just to top up Deputy Commissioner's comments, the reality is people who have perhaps addictions issues, whether it be by drug or alcohol, it's a prevalent problem which is not just a law enforcement policing issue. It's a public health issue that I think more recently in the last several years we've been more thoughtful of doing that. So some of the trends you're seeing is also a confluence of drugs as well as alcohol. So access to it not necessarily doesn't correlate to an increase in the behavior. So it is a holistic approach, but you've seen, without a doubt, with the OPP and our municipal agencies, a shift in how we approach impaired driving, particularly the OPP's recent policy of mandatory tests. In fact, here in Peel Region, anybody that gets stopped for an impaired driving, either by drug or alcohol, gets an immediate referral to a social service agency to provide off-ramps. So the solutions for the problem, back to the Premier's comments, are about the root causes which we're focused on.
Thank you for that. I just want to switch gears, Premier.
Sure.
There's been lots of talk in the past week about where public health care funding is going as your government expands pharmacist powers. Critics say this is yet another way your government is privatizing the healthcare system by putting money in the hands of these large pharmacy retail chains. How do you respond to that?
Well, I totally disagree. We're backlogged. It's not the docs don't have a lack of customers. If I had $1 for every time someone said I need to get an appointment with my family physician, I can't get it. Over 1 million people have gone to pharmacies for 19 prescriptions, and we're expanding that. That's 1 million people that don't have to go to their family physician and tie up their office for simply something like pink eye or other areas that they need a prescription. It is one of the most popular things we've ever done. And I'm going to pass this over to our Minister of Health, Sylvia Jones, and she can get into more details.
Thank you, Premier. So as the Premier mentioned, when we made the 19 minor ailments announcement, we have now seen over 1 million Ontario residents access that service. Treating people quickly and having them have an option to go visit their primary care provider or go see their local community pharmacist is making and ensuring that we have access in the province of Ontario. And this is not new. When you look at other Canadian jurisdictions, in fact, Ontario is lagging. We are now leading Canada. We are doing the consultation currently to see what next steps we can do to ensure that people have access. But this is about convenience and access to minor ailments. Thank you.
Hi, Premier.
Hi.
Barbara with Queen's Park Briefing. I wanted to ask you about EV plans today. So Umicore, which is a global material company, they said they stopped spending on EV battery materials in one of the battery plants in Ontario. They're saying that the decision was made because of low expectations for growth in the EV market. So what do you make of that, and what does it mean for the almost...
We've been listening to a press conference being held by Premier Doug Ford alongside Ontario Solicitor General Michael Kersner, announcing a funding announcement to essentially new police helicopters to help prevent violent carjackings not only in the Greater Toronto area, but Ottawa as well.